Hi guys, this is MJ. Welcome to our Rustic Maple Design family. Today we're going to be making a jute Christmas tree. I think too you can make this tree any time of year, but I'm making it for Christmas, so let's get started. I have all that I need around me. I've got my hot glue gun, extra glue sticks. I've got package tape, and I will show you how to use that. On the top, we're going to make this really cute wood star. This is the jute rope that I got from Hobby Lobby, and this is how it comes, kind of in noose form. I think that's funny. It's 15 foot long. I like this because it's so flexible. Some of the jute ropes aren't, and some of them kind of hurt your hands. This one's nice and soft. So let's get started. Now the styrofoam I'm using is again from Hobby Lobby too. So I'm going to untangle this rope, and as we're doing that, this tree is 12 inches tall. So this rope's 15 feet, and it's not going to quite cover the whole tree. So that kind of stinks, but it is what it is. So since this isn't going to cover the whole tree, I'm going to use what I have, and then over to the side I have some extra from another project that I worked on. Now I've untangled this rope, but at the very end, see how this is frayed? We want to try to tie that back up, save as much of it as possible. This is where the package tape comes in handy. Just take a little bit of packing tape, wrap it up tight around the end. This helps it to not fray, and then as we're going to attach it to the tree, it keeps it in place without fraying. Now, if you guys can think of something better than packing tape, I have, if you look beside me too, some of the invisible tape. I've used that, and it actually shows up more than the packing tape. So I use the packing tape, works pretty good. You put it on pretty tight. And then we're just gonna do the both ends because we're going to need both ends to have the tape on it so they don't fray. Make sure it's tight and kind of holds its form. All right, that's pretty good. Now also too, if you happen to like this video, please thumbs up. And if you'd like to subscribe, that'd be great. And if you ever have any ideas that you'd like us to try out, let us know in the comment section and we will try to do that for you. All right, I'm untangling the rope because you want it as untangled as possible, because when you put it on, it kind of starts tangling and twisting, and that makes it more difficult. Plus, it doesn't look as good. All right. Now this particular tree, I like the styrofoam from Hobby Lobby because it's more durable. It's got a flat base, but we're going to go ahead and cut that end of the rope real quick because we're going to attach that towards that flat base. It just stands more sturdy, so cut about 1/4 inch length of the tape showing. So it's only going to be 1/4 inch. You got both flat ends to deal with. This is great because it just helps attach things to them better. So when you attach it to the bottom, make sure that it's going to be snug and you want it flush against the table. Just apply a pretty good amount of hot glue because this is a thicker rope. Lean it against the table. Just use that table as your help. Push it against the styrofoam. And that very tip, you want to push inwards because you don't want it poking out. You want it flush with everything. So kind of hold this in place because this is your starting base. Hold it in place while it cools. And remember too, you can try it out, but these styrofoam tree forms are so much better at Hobby Lobby. They're just more durable, stronger, stand straighter. They're better than the cheaper ones that you can buy that are really only like $1 cheaper maybe at the most. So let's start applying our glue. You just want to attach the whole base. The base is the important part, because that's where everything begins and that's where we're going to follow our pattern. So just go all along the bottom and get that nice and snug and pressed up against the styrofoam. And use your table to keep it flat so it's flush. I'm just letting it kind of cool and hold in place. You won't have to do this with the whole tree. It's mostly just the beginning. You just want to get a good start. I changed mine. You got a high and low on this particular gun that I'm using, the heating gun. I've turned it to low because it's giving me way too much glue, but you can do it how you want. All right, now this is the beginning of the rope. So if you look at this, you're gonna have a little bit of the white part showing on the tree, which isn't bad. This is gonna be the back side of your tree anyway. So you're just gonna have a little bit, but you wanna loop up to the next row. See how I've got that I've let that cool so it holds in place. Now I'm doing the next row, hold it kind of tight, and you wanna make sure there's no gap so you're not seeing any of the styrofoam. And just keep detangling that rope as you go along. Just follow that glue. Hold it tight, and you kind of want to go tight downward, push it downward on the other one, and push it onto the base. All right, and then we're just gonna loop that all the way. So I'll just continue this and we'll just fast forward it for you. All right, we're getting down to the end of the rope. So with that, we're gonna wanna leave just like a 1/4 inch of that packing tape. So there's not much on it, just a 1/4 inch. I don't particularly like how loose this one is. I'm gonna redo it and tighten it up a bit because you want it pretty tight. You want it to hold its shape. So let me retape this real quick. Just put it back into its shape again. And make sure it's pretty tight. That's better. So just cut about a 1/4 inch. Just make it a straight cut. Just enough to hold that frayed edge together. And then you'll be gluing the rest of the rope on. One thing I'm noticing here too, hold on a second. We're not lined up to the back of the tree. So look down at the very bottom where you started, that little gap that's right there. That's the back of your tree. So let's cut the rope so it's even with the bottom part of that, so that can be the back of your tree that has the little bit of packing tape that you're gonna see and that little gap on the bottom. They're very small, but I like just to have them in the back of the tree. That way you don't see them on the front. The front and the sides look really nice. So let's line that up real quick. We're just gonna put the packing tape kind of where I wanna cut it so it's lined up with the back, with that lower piece that we started with. See how those will both kind of line up when we're through? And that'll be the back of your tree. Just cut about a 1/4 inch again. That's pretty good. Now, when you do this, you want this to be flush, so you want to put some extra glue there, but you don't want it so much that it seeps through and gets onto your rope. So put some extra glue there and then push it pretty hard onto the tree because you want to push it in, you don't want it jutting out, and you want to push it down. So you're pushing it in and down and you're cooling it. Let it cool. So just sit there and just take a breather. Let it cool until you start with the next piece. And that feels pretty tight now. It's not like it's moving at all. So that's ready. So now we're going to go to the extra rope that I had from another project. Same stuff, same jute rope. And again, this is the flexible jute rope that you can buy. It's 15 feet at Hobby Lobby. I think it's like $7.99 if you get it for full price, but I always go when it's 40% off. Usually their ribbons and ropes are 40%. They never go to 50. Just an FYI on that. So cut in that 1/4 inch again. Now this is going to butt up to that other piece, but make sure, put the extra glue on there, and when you butt it up, push it in towards that other piece that's already on there, so there's no gapping when it dries. So push it in towards it and down, in towards the other piece and down, and line it up. So it's as if it's just one piece. So push that inward. And then let that cool, because it needs to hold. Because it's basically like you're starting with a fresh new piece. That's holding pretty good. Okay, now hold that in place with your thumb and then just start continuing. And we're gonna just add it like we did the rest of the rope. And I'm kind of holding it with my hand just to hold it, because again, it's like a fresh new rope that we're working with. So just kind of hold it in place while it cools. And start putting that glue all the way around just like we've been doing. So we're basically just going on. So we'll fast forward through this part too and let you meet me back when we get to the top. All right, as we're getting closer to the top here, I would like to say, if you are liking what you see, please hit the like button, and we'd love for you to subscribe. And if you want to leave a comment and give us some ideas of what else we can be making, let us know. That'd be great. And you can always visit us at our Etsy shop, Rustic Maple Design. All right, we are at the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this dowel. So it's basically a small dowel that you just cut the length you want. Mine's probably about 5 inches long. I have drilled a hole in the star. So I'm going to take this apart and show you. Basically drill a hole in the star for this size dowel that you're using. And you can choose whatever dowel you want. So I've drilled this hole into it right there. So that dowel just sticks in there. Now if it's a little bit loose, usually it's pretty snug. If it's a little bit loose, like this one is a little bit loose, I just put a little piece of the glue in there. Stick the dowel inside. Get that snug in there so it doesn't break apart. And then the other end we're basically going to be putting on the top of that tree. So I'm just going to get the excess glue off. But isn't that a cute star? I love these stars. Now I did get these off from Amazon, so I'll put the link below for you. They're really cute, and I think they're quite durable. You can easily drill into them. They don't break. They're really cute. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but they're kind of two-toned, which I like that too. So we're going to put that dowel on the top of the tree right in the middle. And you don't want to put it too deep because we're going to be putting the rope around and we're getting ready to tape that rope. So first we're going to put the star in. Don't push it into the length you want yet. You just want it in the hole so we kind of know where it's at. And it's okay if it moves around a little bit. So now we're going to move the rest of the rope, the jute rope, around. We're going to figure out how much we need, because we're going to tuck that very end of the tape end in snug inside so you don't even see the tape, which is great. So figure out how much you need, and then you're going to use a little bit of that packing tape, and we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to put that packing tape on nice and snug, and you're going to cut about 1/4 inch of the rope, and then the rest is going to be for that leftover rope that you can use for another project so it doesn't fray. stick it on there tight. Cut that 1/4 inch off. And go put this off to the side. Now we're going to go around, and because we're nearing the top, not only do you want to put it around the styrofoam, but you might need to put a little bit on the jute rope that it's right next to. You'll kind of know as you're going along. But don't put too much to where that hot glue shows on the outside. Just kind of put it on the underneath part where it's going to attach. And then that way you won't have any hot glue showing, because that gets a little bit ugly looking when you do that. So kind of take it around. And now I'm going to glue the entire top part, because I'm going to go around and I'm going to stick that little piece in there and tuck it inside. Nice and snug. And that holds it in place, which is awesome. It's in there snug, holding it in place. I'm going to use a little bit of extra glue where the 2 ropes are touching, so there's no gapping. Then I'm just going to push down a little bit, make sure that it's snug in there, let it cool. All right, that feels pretty good. So now we're just going to straighten that dowel star. Just kind of put it with the length that you want. Everybody's different. I like to sit down and kind of look at it at different levels and different angles, because I want to make sure that it's semi-straight. It's okay if it's a little bit off, because the stars are a little bit crooked, which I think is kind of cute. But just make sure it's in there, and then get all that excess glue off, because we know how messy that can be. We are almost done. I think this is actually so pretty. I think it's very elegant looking. So I have different colored ones that I do, like you can see the red one on the side there. These are really pretty trees, and when people see these, they just say they're so beautiful. And I think not only for Christmas time, but I could see them up as a decor item, you know, year round. Maybe not the red so much, depends what your colors of your home are, but I think that's pretty darn cute. And talk about durable. It's so nice. I love that. Now see how the tapes are on the back? So those 2 match up. So that's right on the back side. Turn your star so it's facing the front. And you are good to go. Look how sweet that is. I love it. It's orderly, it's beautiful, it's soft. This jute rope's really soft. Pretty cute. Easy to make. You can have different sizes, different colors. I love this red. Oh, so pretty. I wish they had more to choose from, but I know there's red, cream, white, black, tan. And then just design your house you want. Thanks so much for watching, guys.